Hi, it's Chaitni. Welcome to 2023. I hope so far you've had a really good year. If not, it's totally cool. You have the rest of the year to make amends. So today I want to share my 5 rules of beauty. How did this come about? So one of my biggest pet peeves is when people feel the need to comment on somebody else's appearance. It drives me bonkers when people point out somebody's weight or the color of their skin. Sometimes they say it to your face, sometimes they say it behind your back. Either way, there are these unrealistic standards of beauty that are actually perpetuated by the media out there, whether it's social media or it's the movie industry, or the celebrities that we follow, the magazines that we read. No matter where we look, it's everywhere. And it's pretty much bullshit. It's this obsession with being the right size, the right weight. For women, they need to be fair skinned, they need to be petite. For men, they need to be muscular if they're true men, real men. They need to have 6 packs, or, everybody needs to be something. They need to follow something, right? And fall into these rules that society has created. What happens ultimately is, with all of this pressure, it's so easy to lose our self-esteem, and it's so easy to stop loving ourselves. And when that happens, everything else spirals. So that's kind of been the inspiration behind this week's video. This doesn't mean that if there are things you want to change about yourself, you shouldn't. If you do feel that you want to lose weight, or if you do feel that you want to have toned arms, go for it, but do it the natural way and do it in a healthy fashion. Ask yourself, how can I go about achieving this goal? What is it going to take? Crash diets are not the answer. Over exercising is not the answer. So go about it in a way that's sustainable, sensible, and that's going to work for you and your lifestyle. All right. So without further ado, these are my 5 rules of beauty. Number 1 is no negative talk. So I want to ask you something, and try this the next time you look in the mirror. What do you see when you look at yourself in the mirror? Or how do you talk to yourself, when you're out shopping and you're in a fitting room trying on a variety of clothes and something just doesn't fit right, or you don't think it flatters your body? How do you talk to yourself? Because all of this inner talk matters. The way you talk to yourself is reflected in the judgments you make of other people and the comments that you make about other people. So when you talk to yourself kindly and you look at your body as the miracle that it is, you extend the same courtesy to other people. So, the example I gave earlier, right? When people might say, "Oh my goodness, she's put on so much weight," or "Oh my goodness, you've become so skinny," or "Oh wow, you have a tan, you've become really dark." All of these comments, they're actually an extension of our insecurities. Somewhere, this is how we talk to ourselves. And so we think it's okay to talk to others that way. There are 2 words that I don't allow in my mental vocabulary, and they're fat and ugly. I just don't use them. I don't use them for myself. And so thankfully, I don't use them for other people. So find those words. What are those things that you say to yourself and you think they're okay to say to other people? Because when you shame yourself, you shame others. But when you love yourself, you love others, and you start to see their inner beauty and not just their outward appearance. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is I do what works for me. So following fads comes at a cost, financial cost and otherwise. So can you tap into your body's needs and see what's going to work for your body and what works for you? To give you a really simple example, I don't own a jumpsuit. I don't wear a jumpsuit. I've never worn one. And I know jumpsuits are in fashion, I think, or were at least over the last couple of years. I know a lot of my friends, would wear jumpsuits and they looked great. They looked fabulous, but they're not for me, just for one simple reason. I don't find them practical. I think it's ridiculous that I have to unzip half the dress to use the bathroom. And with the amount of water I drink, I do need to use the bathroom quite a bit. So jumpsuits don't work for me. And it's a fad that I'm not going to follow. It's a fashion that is just it's not my jam, and that's fine. It's something that I don't do. Another example is mani pedis. I don't enjoy mani pedis for a couple of reasons. One is I'd rather spend that money on something else, whether it's going out to eat and trying something new, or maybe buying some organic groceries that I usually wouldn't indulge in. So for me, it's not a priority. Also, I think I do a better job with my own manicure pedicures at home, so I don't like to get them outside. But those are my priorities. That's what works for me. I know for some people, their mani pedi is just heavenly. It's something that they look forward to every week or every 2 weeks or once a month, whatever the schedule may be. And they find that time very relaxing. It's very enjoyable. It's their me time, and that's totally acceptable. As long as you do you and you don't force others to do what you do, it's totally fine. Everybody gets to find what works for them. Now, rule number 3 is I do what makes me happy. For a long time in my 20s, even my early 30s, I had the people around me telling me I should wear makeup because otherwise I looked too much like plain Jane. And these were people that were close to me that were telling me this. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something to it. Because everywhere I looked when I went into work or, I would just be out and about, I would notice a lot of people with makeup on. And so I said, fine, I fed my insecurities and theirs, and I tried it and I hated it. I felt like I belonged more in a circus with the kind of makeup that I put on. I wasn't very good at it. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't put much effort into it because it wasn't my thing. I didn't really want to learn about foundation and primer and eyeshadow and any of that. I was very happy with just wearing an eyeliner sometimes, or wearing lip color sometimes. That was sufficient. So you have to find what's going to work for you, for your body, for your skin. It's only the biggest organ in your body. And then figure out what makes you happy. Wearing makeup didn't really make me happy. So it's not something that I ever got into. But if it makes you happy, it's something that excites you, go for it. Rule number 4 is I take care of myself. So there is no replacement for proper nutrition, movement, and sleep. There's no replacement for healing unseen wounds in your heart. There is no replacement for the toxic thoughts in your head. So the more you take care of your head, the more you take care of your heart, the more you take care of your gut, the more everything else will just follow. Beauty starts on the inside out. So start with the inside. What is in your heart? What needs to be healed in your heart? What is in your head? How can you change that inner critic? How can you change that influx of negativity? What is in your gut? Are you eating properly? Are you eating the right nutrients? Are you eating nourishing foods? Are you hydrating? How much alcohol are you drinking? What kind of foods are you eating? So is it really processed? Is it mostly junk food? That is truly what matters. That is truly what's going to make a difference in the long run. Everything else is just surface level. And the key here is loving your mind, body, and soul in ways that it wants you to love it, not the other way around. And then rule number 5, this is actually my favorite. It's complimenting myself and others. So the second part of this comes very easily to me. It's just something that comes naturally where I notice things about people, and I love heaping praise on them, and we're talking about appearances. I might notice a fun eye color that they've used for their eyeshadow, or I may notice their really pretty earrings, or shoes that I would never be able to pull off, or an outfit that they've put together, anything of that sort. And I take a moment to tell them how great they look. Every time I do that, every single time, no matter who this person is or what kind of mood they're in, there is a smile that lights up their eyes. And that's the smile that I'm chasing. None of this is just fake flattery. I genuinely compliment them. But with that said, what does not come naturally to me is complimenting myself. So lately, I've told myself, it's a challenge actually, that every day I need to find something that I find beautiful about my body and my face. There's so much there that I don't see. So I ask you to join the challenge with me. Look in the mirror every single day and find one thing that's beautiful about you. Not the same thing every day, something new, because there is so much that's beautiful about you and your body. I mean, after all, your body is a miracle. Your face is a miracle. Imagine the things that it does for you. So it shouldn't be too hard. One thing. One of the things that I've noticed about myself that I actually find beautiful are the scars on my knees. For a very long time, I was super insecure about these scars. I thought my knees looked so ugly. So I wouldn't wear shorts. I wouldn't wear skirts, dresses, anything that would expose my knees. Thankfully, I got over this insecurity in the last few years. And now when I look at my knees, I don't ignore them or I don't avert my eyes. I smile because these scars that I have, they remind me of my childhood, of all the times that I fell off my bicycle, because that's pretty much how I got these scars. I used to love riding my bicycle. And, they remind me of moments where I was happy and I was carefree and I was hopeful. I just had this attitude of, bring it on. I can do it. I can conquer the world on my bicycle. So, that's, looking at those scars just makes me really happy and really grateful. So to wrap it up, 5 rules, right? First rule is no negative talk. Second rule is you do what works for you. Third rule is do what makes you happy. Fourth rule is take care of yourself, because if you don't, nobody else will. Fifth rule is compliment yourself and compliment others. None of what I'm telling you here is new. None of what I'm telling you here means that you completely forego the way you look. Hygiene is important. We're not saying ignore hygiene, that needs to be a part of your beauty regimen. But all I'm saying is make this process of beauty and make these expectations your own. Hold yourself to high standards, but don't fall victim to what society thinks is beautiful. You don't need to be a certain size, a certain weight. You don't need to be fair skinned or have fully symmetrical features or have a certain kind of body shape to be attractive. You really don't need that. That's not what helps your soul shine. It's when you are you and have the desire to be the best you is what matters. When you put in the work to be the best possible version of you, that's when your soul shines. That's when you bloom. And that's when you're the most beautiful. So I hope you got something out of this. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. If you want to learn more about how I can help you and what I do, check out my website. It's www.imperfectbodies.com. Imperfect Bodies is one word. And again, thank you for your time. I will catch you next week. I hope you have a good week.